It's Wednesday, May 8th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. What time is it? I guess Scott doesn't want to play along. It's adventure time.
It could be many other times.
But right
text
now,
time.
Right now, adventure time.
Game time.
Let's do this. So Scott really hasn't watched it or isn't really a fan of it, but I'm really big into Venture Brothers, and season 5 is coming up way soon.
Okay.
So
what is that? I don't understand seasons anymore. It's like all the TV seasons.
Because that's how production schedules work.
There used to be, right, that like TV seasons started at a certain time and ended, and all the seasons started and ended at the same time of every show, and then there would be a time where there was just 100% reruns for months, and then all new TV shows.
So Scott, the reason you perceive that is that there was a time in your life when you paid attention to that and watched TV.
And nowadays,
you don't pay attention anymore.
TV shows start all different times.
Part of that, too, is that TV has changed, cable has changed. I mean, when we were kids, there really wasn't cable.
I know.
Like, cable came out.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying there's been a change here.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of changes. These changes have been going on for a long time. And I think part of it is just that you don't watch normal TV anymore, because normal TV follows the more standard schedules. People still talk about summer reruns if they watch network bullshit sitcoms.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter, though. It's all internet now.
Yep.
But, Venture Brothers Season 5 took for fucking ever. I can't believe how old Venture Brothers is until I looked at when Season 1 came out. Good God.
Yeah, I remember... I think the first Kineticon we went to...
You sure it wasn't Anime Boston?
We went into this little tiny... There was a tiny room where we got our folders with our itineraries.
See, I remember
And they had
this.
a tiny TV in that conference room, and Venture Brothers is on that TV.
I remember that happening at an Anime Boston.
It was not Anime Boston.
There was a PAX where we were going to perform in a room, and it was at night, and they were just showing clips from Venture Brothers in the room to the audience before we showed up, just hanging out.
That's true.
So the thing is, it's funny because it's a show that I remember I watched a few episodes because I was in India just waiting for a flight, and I had it on my laptop. So I watched like the first 4 episodes, and much like Ponies, I was like, you know what? It's an okay show. Not great, but it's okay. But I got a long flight, so I watched the entire first season, and the show just got better and better and better and better. I got Emily to start watching the show by skipping a lot of that first season stuff and just starting with the really good stuff and then backpedaling and seeing the original episodes once she kind of had seen stuff. So she's pretty much caught up now, and I'll be able to watch the new season going forward with someone instead of by myself. Goddamn, I love that show.
Yeah.
You'll get into it. I mean, you've resisted Adventure Time for the longest time.
I didn't resist it. You seem to think I resist things.
You resist things.
Because I delay. There's a difference between delaying and resisting, right? So Adventure Time, I was delaying. Venture Brothers, resisting, because I've seen it, and it's not the kind of... It's like one of those shows like Archer or C-Lab where I don't think it's funny.
I still don't understand how you don't find Archer funny, considering the other things you find funny.
It's just sort of ridiculous and not humorous.
So Adventure Time is clearly in no way ridiculous.
Adventure Time, well, why don't we wait till the second half of the show for me to discuss that?
So there was a Twitter discussion. Mike Toole was involved, and I threw my cents in. And it came down to the fact that apparently episode 11 of Kids on the Slope, with its Blu-ray release, was either missing the left audio channel on the Japanese track, or there was some other problem with it. And
Are you sure it was actually missing the left, or was just the balance all to the right?
It's either not there or on some...
It's just like 100% of the track is mixed to the right side on mono.
So no. So it was missing.
Oh.
Or it was so low volume, but it wasn't in the right track. It was just gone. But there's more to it than that, because when I was trying to find a succinct explanation of the problem just now to be able to talk about it, I discovered that anime Blu-rays have a history of fucked up audio and video issues and sampling issues and all these people complaining, but the people complaining usually don't know enough about audio or surround sound or Dolby or Blu-ray to succinctly describe what their problems are. And many people don't believe those problems exist But then I find people who find problems that are clearly real, but then there are fanboys who don't believe the problems exist because their surround sound's set up wrong in the first place. So I've been watching this whole thing, and I think I have a more meta point to make. Physical media is dead except to collectors.
Physical media has been dead for a long time. I don't understand how Blu-ray is still alive or why anyone ever buys them ever. It makes no sense to me.
Well, here's the thing. I would buy physical media for a show that, one, I don't have a reliably existent forever stream of. Two, I regularly show to other people in my house.
Yeah, you know what physical media is? I get a digital copy onto a hard drive. Now it's a physical media. Ta-da!
Yeah, well, lately I'm
A
really...
Blu-ray rip.
I basically only watch streaming stuff now, and things I actually care about I will rip, and I'm kind of planning to rip every DVD I own and then get rid of them all.
I already did a lot of that.
Yeah.
I already did a lot of that.
In fact, I'm in the process of ripping all of Utena as we ramp up production of Geek Nights Presents.
Already did that.
The trouble is, depending on ripping formats and everything, sometimes subtitles, there's every old anime release has its own particular bullshit
You
to
got
deal
to know
with.
what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, you got to put some manual effort
Yeah.
into figuring
Right.
out the particular problems with each individual anime series
Right.
and publisher.
But the point is that, you know, regardless of the problems of physical media in general, particularly, right, the less professional releases, right? And anime companies are less big time than, say, Hollywood movies.
oh, good God. It is
right?
clearly amateur hour.
Right, it's amateur hour when it comes to mastering their DVDs and Blu-rays, and it always has been, except there are a few, right, companies that even though they are amateur, it's not amateur hour. For example, say Anime Ego back in the day or Discotech now, right? They're the people who actually care about the stuff they're doing and they're putting in the full effort. But say a Funimation or a Bandai is just like, wah, whatever.
Yeah, I think but what's funny is I was reading all these Twitter conversations and forum conversations about this, and I noticed something, kind of an anecdote. There were three classes of people. The people who weren't involved because they just stream everything and don't care about physical media. People like me who are busybodies and complain. And the people who were defending the anime companies who make mistakes because you got to support them.
See previous Geek Nights episode.
This is not a charity?
This is not a charity.
Well, the thing is, there is a way to make it a charity by using a combination of Kickstarter and donations and whatever, but that's a whole separate thing. My anecdotal evidence is something much more subtle. The people who are saying these mistakes are common in other industries and we shouldn't hold the anime industry to that high of standard because they're so small and whatever, were almost universally very poorly spelled and with bad grammar.
Okay.
And the people who are saying things like the release is ruined or this is bullshit amateur hour used proper punctuation and good word order and spelling. So
Okay.
just pointing that out.
In a somewhat related news, right? Nozomi, another anime company,
Yep.
is releasing Princess Knight on DVD in the US.
Oh shit, son.
And they're doing some crazy remaster, and you can see on this link that is provided for you a video comparison showing you the kind of remaster they are doing.
Now wait, is this a good remaster or is this the Utena one, which is good
This
in
is
some
like-
ways but has
No,
jaggies?
This is like the Anime Ego Macross one where it's just all the color is fucking
Ooh.
correct, right? However, there is a flaw. The flaw is...
Is it fatal?
No.
Okay.
Well, kind of.
Because it clearly won't
Given-
include
right,
the final episode.
Because of the materials that they have to work with, they do not have Japanese audio that they can include. So it is dub only.
But
So-
that modern Astro Boy had the same problem. It's the only
Right.
reason I didn't watch it, because that
So-
dub was the worst.
So this, to their credit though, all right, the top comment on YouTube is, I would get this if only there was an option for the original Japanese audio with English subtitles. They themselves officially replied with their account saying, sorry, frowny face. We've been pretty open about the reasons we can't include the Japanese audio. It's just not possible with the source materials provided to us. We still think this will be a very impressive addition for all the PK fans out there. Smiley face.
So is it, because I haven't followed this news at all, is it that the Japanese company won't give it to them or that it's gone?
I have a feeling that it's just, it sounds right.
Because gone can happen, and that sucks. There are gone situations in the world, but I doubt this is a gone
My
situation.
interpretation is that given whatever audio masters they have received, the quality or completeness of those is lacking. Like there might be like just completely missing, or the sound is like you can't hear it, or full of noise, like something like that. That kind of issue, right?
I'm wondering.
It doesn't seem like it's an issue where the material doesn't exist. It's an issue where the material that they received from.
See, but they keep saying they received. That's why I'm wondering what the Japanese company has to say about this.
They who knows what they might have,
like
something better, or they might not.
And I say
there
Japanese
might be
company
a good recording, or they might have let it fall.
Because
to
I
shit.
don't know who owns whatever rights anymore to all these
I'm
different
guessing,
pieces.
I don't know.
Yeah, but do they? Do they have the masters?
Yeah,
Is it Doctor
maybe
Who?
that is the master they had. Maybe it's I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah, this is a problem in general that we need to be better about archiving stuff that wasn't already digital before it's too late and we lose it all. But I worry that this was not necessarily a situation of it wasn't available, but a situation of there was some BS with whatever company has rights and copyright disputes.
Yeah, I think that
because that stuff seems to happen way more often currently than it literally does not actually exist anymore.
It could also be that they got their source material. They couldn't get the source materials from Japan. They could only get them from the U.S., right? Something like that.
But again, if it's something like that, that usually also means there's some IP dispute.
Something like that, yeah.
I hate the fact that there's
knows
no
where
way
they
to
got the
know the
license
fullness
from.
of what happens in these situations.
It's like, why not tell everybody things? Whatever. I've discussed that before.
Yeah,
as well.
we've talked about that. But anyway, things of the day. Way back, we had this video. I forget if it was me or Scott, but it was a cat singing about how he can't find his keys in the morning. Something that even now, not owning a car, happens to me on a semi-regular basis.
Happens to me, never.
But it's a situation you've never experienced that. You've never been out to go to the door.
I have in the past, but I have a system that has been working for many years of perfectness.
Well, my system now is I have a drawer where my keys always are.
Okay.
Got my wallet. The problem will be...
I use the ropey thing inside of my Timbuktu bag and go click.
See, I don't carry my bag anymore, ever.
I carry my bag.
I don't carry my bag.
Bag is
Because
important.
I don't carry my laptop with me because I don't need it anymore.
I carry a lot of stuff with me.
I basically carry nothing with me.
Yeah, all right, what happens when you're outside and then that's the apocalypse and you don't have any equipment?
I'll break into Paragon Sports and get it all. Besides, Scott, when the apocalypse happens, your Netrunner cards and your laptop are not going to be that important.
Those are the most important things. What are you talking about?
Anyway, it was a funny video.
How are we going to pass the time in the Fallout shelter without Netrunner cards?
So the people behind that funny video did, in fact, continue to make funny videos, and they have a YouTube series that is basically just The Odd Couple, but if they're worse people.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really funny, and I've watched every episode of it. It is crude, it is mean, it is black humor, and it is great.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so... on my wall, right, I have that awesome woodblock print.
Oh, yeah, you do.
It depicts, what's his face?
You already forgot.
I forgot. All I remember is that is it Yoshitsune, I think, and Benkei the warrior monk, and they're on a boat, and they just killed the whole Taira clan, like they're evil enemies, right? Well, they're enemies. They're like, it's like Hatfields and McCoys. The Hatfields just killed all the fucking McCoys. I don't even actually know what happened with that in reality. But anyway, and they get on a boat and they're going back home.
Yeah, I think this is the woodblock you have, right? This one? No.
But that's right. Not it. And all of the ghosts of all the dead Taira clan people come up, are all around the boat like, ooh, you just killed us all. Ooh, assholes. We're going to haunt your ass. Right? So anyway, so here's a website I found, ukiyo-e.org. It is a Japanese woodblock print search.
Uh-oh.
It has pretty much every woodblock print ever, as far as I can tell. There is none that I know of, and I know of quite a few that I was not able to find on this site, including the one I have on my wall.
Not bad.
And it separates them too by time. So it goes all the way from early to mid 1700s all the way up to 1950s to now. And they got some freaking modern ones on here that are really brightly colored because fucking modern. Holy shit. Look at this one with the mountain.
Not bad.
Okay.
In the meta moment, we're going to be at Anime Boston doing 5 events. We're also going to be at Kineticon, PAX Australia, PAX Dev, PAX Prime, MagFest, etc.
Mm-hmm.
We got a forum, book club book, player of games, Ian M. Banks, Forum, YouTube, Twitter, Grand Prix is currently Galaga.
Oh, yeah.
Galaga.
Shoot them bugs.
So, Scott, what if I do not get points forever, but I just take my sweet time?
Eventually, you're using my time because I have to watch you play. It's a one chance.
Yeah.
And if you take up your whole, whatever.
My
if
whole
I'm
whatever what? So what's the rule?
The rule is
there a time limit?
Yeah, when I have to fucking go because I have a higher priority, like besides watching you fucking
so
play
then the
Galaga.
Grand Prix is completely invalid. Because what if someone's on the epic, like they're just going and going and going, but you got to pee? What are you going to do?
Listen, you schedule a time for this shit with me, right? You're going to have enough time. Most people are going to die within a few minutes. No one's going to play for hours and hours and hours.
I don't know.
And if they do, right, it's like they win. Who else is going to go that long?
All right, so what if 3 people were going to go, one guy is going to go hours and hours and hours, and
if some guy's going that long,
you cut him off.
If some guy's going that long, right?
Yeah.
We're talking world record situation. So it becomes bigger than the Grand Prix. It becomes super important.
Unless he's just really slow.
You can't be slow at Galaga.
He gets down to 1 bug each time and then takes his sweet ass time relaxing, recuperating, avoiding that 1 bug over and over again. Does the no shooty glitch.
It's not easy to avoid the.
You gonna let people do the no shooty glitch?
I was gonna let people do no shooty glitch
because I was gonna do the no shooty glitch.
I'm assuming that no one can actually pull it off.
Scott, I pulled it off like 5 times. I tried it.
I'm gonna go try it and see if I can do it, and then I will determine if I have to ban it or not.
It's really easy to pull off.
I'm gonna try it anyway.
So a long, long time ago, I remember Scott and I watched. It was like 2007, maybe late 2006. We were
in Beacon.
A YouTube video that was just this kid and his dog who had powers and booties, and it was just crazy. It was one of those awesome internet things in an era before crazy internet things were that common yet.
They were still pretty common.
Not as common as they are now, to where something crazy like this was notable among all the other crazy things that we remembered it.
It was moderately notable, yeah.
And then somehow, many years later, it turned into a show, and that show just kept going. And
it's still going.
It was interesting, all these different waves of us encountering Adventure Time. I remember going to like New York anime festivals.
I remember going to New York Comic Con and there was a giant inflatable Jake.
Yup.
Huge. And I was like, oh, I guess that thing. I guess that thing got pretty big. All right, go you people who like that thing.
Yep. And then I remember seeing tons of people wearing the Finn hat. And I was like, oh, I wonder if that's going to be a thing. Like at cons, like ponies.
I guess it's a thing now. All right.
A thing.
All right.
And it and ponies and Homestuck seem to be in this cluster of things that are continually appearing on the internet and at conventions, even anime conventions.
Yep.
So I resolved at some point to watch a bunch of it, but late to the game, because a bunch of our friends like Yuko and Ananth and all these other people we know had already watched Adventure Time and were just watching it as it came out and were super into it, and I just kind of ignored it. Yeah. Scott had kind of ignored it. So finally, me and Emily are like, let's just watch it. Because this lemon grab thing, I gotta know what the fuck that is.
Well, yeah, I saw that video of the guy going, with the lemon coming out of his mouth.
Yep.
And I was like, what the fuck is
Scott
up with
forwarded
this?
that to me. Like, what the fuck was that? It's some Adventure Time lemon guy. And I watch it, and I still don't know what the fuck's up with that video. But
it's an officially posted video from Cartoon Network or whatever.
Yeah. But basically,
is
Emily
that guy
and I
the voice actor of Lemon Grab?
started watching Adventure Time, and I liked it for the first, 10 episodes. I'm like, this is really great. But then from that point on, I loved it. I went through the same progression of ponies of this is pretty good. And then halfway through the first season, this is great. And then by the end of the first season, this is one of the best things.
I like Adventure Time a lot, and it has a lot of greatness to it. But I'm not gonna say it's one of the best things there is.
All right, well, let's see. Of current and recent things, as in TV show of any kind, what's better than Adventure Time right now?
Oh, what's better?
That's
recent?
ongoing or recent show.
Well, I mean, recent, nothing really. I mean,
recent at all? Let's go back even 3 years. I mean, Madoka, I guess, was really good.
Yeah, I'd say Madoka's right better than Adventure Time.
Yeah, probably. But that was a while ago and ended.
It just shows you what kind of drought we're in.
Yeah. I mean, there's Venture Brothers, which I love, but you don't like.
Yeah.
There's Archer, which I love, but you don't like.
Yeah.
There's Ponies, which I love and you love, but I'm not going to pretend that season 3 is as good as season 1 and 2 were.
Right, so with ponies, right, I'm going to say, artistically speaking, Adventure Time is way ahead of ponies.
I will agree.
Like a whole category up, a whole level beyond. But in terms of, which one would I rather watch? Like if there's a new ponies and a new Adventure Time at the same time, which one do I watch first?
Before the 3rd episode of season 3 of Ponies, I probably would have still said Ponies.
I'd say like coin toss.
I think I watch because Ponies. In season 3, I started waiting a day or two, and I'd watch the episode like Sunday or Monday. But Adventure Time, Emily and I pretty much download like the jankiest ass cap you can get from BitTorrent every Monday when it's out, and watch it that night.
I mean, when I started watching the Adventure Time, I burned through it like fire on some dry ass leaves.
Yeah, well, I think.
But now that I've finished it all, it's like a new episode came out. What, a Monday? I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, but you've watched every episode up to that point.
Yeah.
I remember just pointedly, you were like, I'm only going to watch full seasons that are out. I'm not going to download these individual episodes. And then I think it was 3 or 4 days later, you just innocently asked, yeah, so Potluck Princess, that's the last one, right? Just saying.
Well, I thought it was going to be more difficult to get all the one shot.
I think also what happened was, because, spoilers, not really, but the 4th season of Adventure Time actually does kind of end on a pretty big Escaflowne style cliffhanger.
I wasn't really that hung.
It was not. Did you not agree? To not spoil Escaflowne, that was an Escaflowne style cliffhanger.
Style, okay, I don't know level, but style.
I mean, it was the same. The only reason it wasn't the same level is because Adventure Time's plot that ended in that was only a few episodes long, as opposed to 22 episodes long.
Yeah. The thing with here is...
well, Adventure Time, let's get to this. Adventure Time has a number of aspects to it.
That's what I was going for.
It has the sort of, it is crazy, and every episode is just way different, and you never, it surprises you and goes into really interesting places all over the place all the time. 2, it has a core set of extremely iconic, well-done characters that are very strong and independently interesting. Mm-hmm. And 3, it also has the nerd Gandalf girth world building all there in the background the whole time.
Right, so I see that definitely Gandalf girth aspect, right? But here's the way I see Adventure Time, right? On the one hand, you've got sort of the world building, Gandalf. On the second hand, you have this dialogue that the characters have, this way of talking that's really the highlight of the show. And where at the one hand, they talk really funny, but also sort of the way friends would talk, but also a little way more exaggerated than the way, and clever.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because
it's
Emily
almost like if you took, right, those fast-talking, funny vaudeville types from the olden days, like a Groucho Marx of modern times, talking to his friend who's also a Groucho Marx.
So
and
it's
at
funny.
the one hand, it's they talk funny, but no characters are really stupid, right? It's like there's no straight man Abbott Costello situation. Everyone is totally smart. And
or
knows
sometimes Jake just does really stupid things.
Yes, people do dumb things, and maybe they're weird or eccentric, but nobody's dumb. Even the Ice King's not dumb, right? It's just he has a weird motivations and such.
There's one dumb character.
Who is?
Cinnamon Bun.
Okay, Cinnamon Bun is dumb, but Cinnamon Bun's barely in the show.
I like Cinnamon Bun.
I don't like Cinnamon Bun. But yeah, everyone, even some of the characters are super smart, right?
Well,
like
what's interesting
Princess Volgum.
Marceline too, I think. But anyway,
she's super old.
You hit on something, because Emily and I were watching Venture Brothers, and there's a scene in season 4 where 2 characters are flying a fighter jet, and that show does this sort of, it always juxtaposes friends having one of those banter style conversations with they're in a fighter jet doing something crazy. Like when you see Spider-Man just talking normal while he does
I know what you're
something.
talking about.
I love that. But we realized that sort of banter in Adventure Time and Venture Brothers is stylized banter, because friends, if you and I have our banter just in person, it feels clever and fun in this certain way, because it's like our own personal inside baseball. But someone else just seeing that would not find it terribly witty or terribly apt or apropos. It wouldn't have that professional polish. But if you take natural banter and put it in a show, it also loses that and seems kind of lackluster and cheap. If you stylize that banter to go one step beyond what normal people banter like, it feels emotionally the way real banter feels. So it simulates the experience of having the banter with a friend by stylizing it with people who aren't actually real. So I think that's why they do it. And that scene in Venture Brothers is this multi-minute conversation about a hooker they met and how horrifyingly depressing her breasts were. And I was laughing out loud and almost crying by the end of it.
All right. But the other aspect, right, is not quite with the world building, right, but with the fact that every episode, right, everything is fresh, right? There's no like stock footage situation or reused situation. It's a constant discovery of like always new creatures. He goes in the forest, you don't see the same thing again. It's a new thing, right? It's like, oh, in the background, new things. It's like you're constantly exploring the world without stopping. It's not like they built the world and then living in it. Right? It's they just keep going out and out and out without stopping to new places in the world.
But simultaneously, they support the world building by being consistent with the things that they do show. Like once they show something, it is always pretty surprisingly consistent with the rest of everything that's going on. But I think the way they're able to do that is that they're constantly treading new ground. So the things they revisit are the few core things that they can spend all the time to make sure Marceline is consistent with the history and the timeline and all that stuff.
Yeah, but they'll never just like redo something they already did. If there's like a character that appeared in like one episode and they bring it back, it's doing something new. Like Spanking Guy comes back and he's doing something totally different with these birds. And they don't cheap out on the animation. They're always drawing new creatures and new backgrounds and new places.
Even stuff that's only in an episode for like a couple minutes and then it's gone.
Yeah, it's like other shows like don't have that kind of shit. You know?
Even Ren and Stimpy had a lot of low rent parts and reused crap.
Yeah, or like the same characters over and over again. It's like, come on, guys, do something new. I was like, another Mojo Jojo episode, Powerpuff Girls. Why don't you come up with some new bad guy? And why don't you use him more than 3 times?
A part of this is also, I said the characters are really strong. I really like the characters. And it's not just because they're really well characterized and really sort of strong and iconic, both in the Matt Groening like silhouette way and just like the way they interact with each other and the way they, their motivations and their histories and all, they're just really consistent and well done. The characters themselves also often surprise me. And I think it's because, like you said, none of them are dumb.
No.
So they react like that. One of my favorite episodes in the whole show is Marceline's closet. That is just one of the funniest. That scene where that spider pushes that lamp off the dresser and they're just like, what? And then at the end where the spider bites him, that's one of my favorite episodes. But the fact that at the very end of the episode, Marceline's just like, okay, whatever. I hide in your house all the time. No biggie. Like just that kind of stuff doesn't happen in other shows that otherwise could be like Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
They'll always fall back on a trope. Adventure Time ends with the abrupt, weird shit. Almost every episode.
The number one abrupt weird
let
shit
me guess,
is
you're gonna say
when Jake's in his pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he just farts. He's like,
he's been in my pocket the whole time. Hey. The final thing, right, is that Adventure Time is very Bone-esque, right? In the way that it has sort of these cute characters in a fantasy world. It looks like it's going to be sort of a silly kind of situation.
And it is most of the time, but
it's actually they go on this huge, expansive adventure to find out the terrible secret of fantasy world as opposed to space.
Yeah.
But actually, it is a terrible secret of space.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
But like the Lich was actually like there's scary and serious sort of real plot mixed in with the crazy Adventure Time stuff. And I like the fact that all those elements are in the same show.
Yep.
I also like the fact that it uses music. That's one thing that Ponies did very well too, is having music integrated with the show. I think Scott at least now understands why I keep singing these fucking songs just all the time.
They're not even like, it's not even like Ponies or Winter Wrap-Up is like a musical number. It's just
I'll just be like, on a tropical
it's
island.
like Jake is just sings it. It's barely like a fraction of a song, right? But it's just whoever came up with that. It's so good and catchy. And also I like Tropical Islands to begin with.
And I'll just get stuck in my head for like a week. I'll just be like, I think what bothered Emily is the part that I like to say the most is rubbing it on my body, rubbing it on my body.
Well, you see the top comment on YouTube is someone make a video, rub it on my body on loop for 10 hours, please.
Well, like there's one song that I found again recently. I was looking for an unrelated thing, and it's just they're kind of singing to each other, and he's like, I'll stick my stick into your eye, and you'll say, wow, 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 wow. And that's been stuck in my head for a day and a half now.
I don't remember that one.
Randomly, they're just singing about how they'll stick a stick in your eye, and then Finn just, there's all these cute scenes where Finn will like pick Jake up all sweet, and they'll like sing at each other.
Mm. I mean, you know, and Jake is a musical dude. He's got his little violin.
Yep.
He's always playing it and shit.
But see, that's the thing. He's got all these, the characters have all this stuff going on. They're approaching the complexity of a real character in a real serious thing or a for real, like big production thing. But yet it's just all these short little vignettes. And then that character stuff is just kind of there.
Mm-hmm. And you never, and it's, you know, cool how usually when you have a character in a cartoon, you know, it'll be like that character will have an aspect and they'll just, you know, explode that one aspect and characterize it, you know, over and over again. Whereas
like
in Adventure Time, it's like, okay, yeah, Finn's really great at adventuring in dungeons, but you know what? Most of the episodes, only 2 episodes where he dungeons, and those are really good. But most of the episodes, it's like he's actually doing something else, and you're seeing some other aspect of him.
Oh my god!
Right?
He's
still in character.
When he's teaching Flame Princess how to dungeon, that episode,
right?
Because I just start thinking about dungeons and I like how the dungeons and everything. It's got that sort of trope of the trope-aware character, and that Finn's power seems to be that he just gets dungeons and gets adventure.
Well, I mean, there's the one episode that's pretty much just dungeon.
Yep.
He jumps into the dungeon. He's like, I'm in my element.
I quote that line kind of often.
And then, right, it just shows the smartness and the competence. He fucking tears that dungeon up. It's not like, you know, oops, you know, of some other show, it'd be like, I'm awesome. Actually, no, I just got caught right away. It's like, no, he's a total badass. He cuts up the dungeon because that's his thing.
I think that's most evident in the episode.
He takes out the monsters. He grabs treasures. He gets an awesome sword.
The episode with the Fight King where they go in and he's trying to tempt them. They're like, yeah, we walk through there. That door's going to...
The guy in the little lake?
Yep.
You did the giant dude?
No, that guy was great.
Where it's like no one beats that guy.
But no, I'm talking about the Fight King.
Oh, the farm. I'm thinking about the farm.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the Fight King where they're like, it's totally a trap. Yeah, if we'd walked in there, the doors would have closed and we would have been like gladiators fighting ghosts. And then they're like, and then they run back in and they get trapped because that's going to be fun.
Ha ha ha, it was a trap and now you have to fight my gladiator ghost. We knew that.
I do like the serious parts of Adventure Time as much as I like the funny parts, though. Like, some of my favorite episodes are the fact that the show will do... I think the example I'll use is that Dexter's Lab episode that's just ha 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 ha.
Yep.
That kind of experimental art house sort of fun stuff. Like Adventure Time has the episode where it's just the snow golem and that awesome little firewolf dude.
Same thing.
Exact same thing.
The high concept episode.
But they'll also have the serious episode, like the Door Lords episode with the, you know, them singing their songs is actually really kind of sweet and serious and poignant. And it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of sad. And the relationship between Finn and Princess Bubblegum is actually...
Yeah, that's another... They always, you know, sort of explore new combinations of the existing characters, right? It's like, well, Finn and Jake, yeah, but how, you know, or one of the earliest episodes is like, well, how do Finn and the Rainbow, whatever, what's her name?
Lady Rainicorn.
Lady Rainicorn, how do they get along?
I love how they got along super well.
Here's an episode about that.
Because then later... In the episode where Magic Man doesn't come back with the little mini people, that when Jake's like, why is little Jake so sad? And Finn's like, oh, Lady Rainicorn dumped him. She's dating someone better now, and she's just making out with Finn.
Mm-hmm.
That he, like, all that stuff, and the fact that there's little subtle callbacks and everything. I love Adventure Time.
The one thing I got to say,
I'm trying hard to not make the show just be, let's tell all our favorite anecdotes from the show.
No, I don't do that. Is that I actually don't think Adventure Time is really that funny, like laughing out loud hysterically rolling on the floor funny. It's like there are some funny parts, right? But more of it is a lot like Bone, where it's just like this, it's like just awesome. It's like, yeah, as opposed to, you know, oh my god, lol.
Yep, but it has hilarious moments, but they're interspersed with just baseline levels of entertaining and interesting or moderately funny. Like when there's the voice they use for a couple of different characters, like the demon with the bananas when they're locked up in the Nightosphere is like, sorry, I had to lock you in there with the stuff. The fact that that guy was just so deadpan in hell, that kind of humor you're not going to just laugh out loud when there's just like a deadpan straight man in the middle of crazy demon hell. But it's amusing in and of itself, and that amusement just kind of all builds up, and then later there'll be an unrelated Jake farts in the pocket joke, and you crack up.
What else is there to say about the times of adventure?
Well, we're not going to do it because we've got too much on our plate, but Adventure Time could easily have the Radio Free Equestria Geek Nights Presents treatment.
Nope.
I would love to do it.
N-O-P-E.
I would love to do it. I would do it, but I don't have time for that shit.
It's all you?
Notice how at one point Jake puts on the Ice King's fucking crown and doesn't go crazy and nothing happens. Meanwhile, Finn puts on that crown and pretty much immediately turns into a wizard god.
Probably only works on humans.
Maybe.
Or people who aren't already magic.
It's hard to
Jake's
say.
basically already a wizard. Of stretchiness. He's basically Luffy.
I love how he basically is nothing without his powers. It's the same as when Bender became a human. He just doesn't want to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Though I think I no longer hear Bender's voice when I see Jake. Now I think of Jake when I watch Futurama. Partly because Futurama's dead to me. It hasn't been funny for a long time. I'm kind of glad it's being canceled.
He does do a slightly different the voice is mostly the same, but it is crooked slightly so
it's
between the
crooked
two
more
characters.
as it's gone on. Watch season 1 of Adventure Time again, and it's just like, hey, Bender.
Yeah.
I see you're in the body of a dog now.
And your character is somewhat similar in that it is sort of the main character, but also sort of the sidekick to the human main character, but also very main, and also the sort of silly, supporting person who provides more humor than seriousness, but also some amount of seriousness. He's filling the same role as Bender in many ways. With the same voice, and I think that's sort of just adds on to it.
Yeah, but I think all these elements combined, kind of like how we talked about Ponies is so remixed because it has this particular set of elements together. I think Adventure Time is one of the freshest shows on TV, or at least one of the freshest animated shows.
Yeah.
Because it's just got so many elements that freshen it up.
It's just modern. It's appropriate for this current, the year 2013, right? It's for the time that it is made. It's not like you watch something old and it's like, oh man, that's so old. This is actually, appeals to a modern sensibility made by modern young people, not something made by old people.
So,
trying to guess what the kids like.
Who's your favorite princess?
Oh, favorite princess.
Because it's interesting because everyone has the same reaction. I'll say this. Everyone hates Lumpy Space Princess and doesn't even want her to be on screen until they realize it's hilarious to have her on screen.
Okay, so now, so the question is, right, are you talking about the favorite princess to be on screen, or like the princess that I would date, or the princess that is...
Well, we did all of them with Ponies because so, all right, princess on screen and then princess date.
Princess on screen is probably Lumpy Space Princess.
You want these love.
Oh my god.
That bit where they think they're invisible and they're fucking with her and she's just like, you guys.
How about the princess you don't want to be on screen?
Turtle Princess is just kind of
boring
and slow, but one could argue that that's the point.
Yeah, I mean, at least...
And I can't say that being the point would be bad, because I argue that being the point is good when an Oshii movie is super slow and boring on purpose.
I can tell you the princess I don't want to see again...
Raspberry or a Wildberry Princess?
No, is Bouncy Castle Princess, because that joke is only funny once. And it's like, what are you going to do with that again? Really?
Notice how Finn didn't actually go inside her when everyone else did at the end?
Yeah.
I noticed that.
But yeah, Princess today, it's tough because, Bubblegum Princess is totally...
the best.
Nerdy and sciencey and awesome, but she's also kind of crazy.
But she's kind of crazy. You know what she is? She's a cross of Twilight Sparkle and our friend Lisa.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to go out with a princess, Dr. Princess.
Dr. Princess is pretty good.
Because totally a normal person. Like, hey, what's up?
See, it's tricky. Is Marceline allowed to be on the list? Because she's not a princess, she's a queen.
Not a princess.
Because I prefer the Vampire Queen to any of the Princess I that I've seen.
She's okay.
Slime Princess I haven't seen enough of. She's funny though. The few times she's there.
Yes, Hot Dog Prince is just sort of like, hey, what's up, too?
Yeah, I like how they all are kind of vaguely obsessed with Finn.
Well, you got to remember that one episode where, the nice king
Oh my god.
and all the princesses show their true craziness.
Yeah, they're all kind of crazy, but I think Lumpy Space Princess wins out for being the most dangerously crazy.
Yep. And the thing is like Lumpy Space Princess is the only one with parents, and they do have crowns, so it's like, are they the Lumpy Space King Queen? I assume they are, but they never say that.
Well, we don't know a lot about the kings and queens because Marceline just calls herself the Vampire Queen. I don't think she's actually a queen.
No, she isn't. There's no king.
Yeah. And the Ice King is the only king we've really interacted with.
He's not even really a king.
Yeah, he just has a crown and is crazy.
And made a kingdom out of ice.
I love the episodes where you get flashback. The fact that his backstory is kind of... There's a few characters who are pre-apocalypse, and that whole storyline is just great.
It is interesting that that they made that storyline.
Well, think about it.
It doesn't make me like the Ice King. I still think he's sort of annoying.
Exactly, but think about this. Here's a meta here. Think about that guy or the crazy uncle with Alzheimer's. You don't want to be around that guy. You don't want to deal with like the guy who like is actually autistic and just it's really hard to deal with him socially. But at the same time, you can't hate him. And you sympathize and empathize.
I don't sympathize with the Ice King.
At all?
No.
Guy who sacrificed his sanity to save a little girl in a post-apocalyptic world. Spoilers, I guess.
He's just an annoying dude.
Yeah. But that episode...
That dude who sacrificed his life was a different dude. That dude is dead.
Maybe. But at the same time, that episode where Marceline is just hanging out with him and he's just being crazy and she's singing his notes back at him and he doesn't even realize anymore is so sad. So sad. I get a little choked up every time I see that episode.
Yeah. To me, the Ice King is like the annoying, not as good as the other bad guy's bad guy. Even though he's sometimes
not even the
guy.
episode where he hires a hitman. I thought that one was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked him on screen in that episode.
The hitman was pretty good. The Scorcher. But it's like, come on, there's real bad guys out there, right? Like I'm watching Powerpuff Girls, and it's like I don't want to see this Mojo Jojo every other episode. I want him. I want Amoeba Boys.
Well, him is the only one I want. Him is the Lich. Him is better than every other villain in the Powerpuff Girls.
Him is better than the Lich.
I think the thing is, I like the Lich because the Lich.
The Lich is just a smart and straightforward, actually bad guy. Him is a smart and straightforward, actually bad guy,
who's
but also
terrifying.
he also has style, and the Lich does not have style.
The Lich reminds me of Rezzo. You're here? Time for me to immediately cast.
Rezzo has style also. Not as much as him, but more than freaking the Lich. The Lich has no style.
But Rezzo...
Or attitude.
And all these, a lot of other villains have a sympathetic side, but the Lich is kind of the only thing in the Adventure Time world that is pure, absolute, unquestioning evil with no possibility of redemption.
Flame Princess is dead. Flame King.
I think he is evil in that evil's doing its job way. Like he's the Flame King. Of course he's evil. Though I think Flambeau is one of my favorite characters.
Flambeau's pretty good.
He's like, I cast Flame Shield on you and I spits on you.
All right. You know which characters? All right. Best side character that appears in only a few episodes.
Well, only a few. Lady Rainicorn's not in enough episodes. So I want to say her.
But you know who's better than that?
I really like Meow. Oh, you want to do the 1, 2, 3?
Choose Goose.
The Choose Goose is often forgotten.
Choose Goose is so good. The Choose Goose actually brings out the laughs. Because he's totally weird and wacky, but he's not stupid either.
But in any other show, they would overuse that character in that voice.
Exactly, and it would get, and they would make it a dumb character. It's like, no, Choose Goose is smart. Whatever he tells you is true, and he gives you really good equipments.
He also, when he's making fun of Finn, it's just the best.
He's not fooling you.
When he's making fun of Finn, when Finn wants the armor that's so...
That's one of my favorite episodes, the one where he's got the armor that is...
Well, even inside of the show, when Magic Man gives him the little miniature people, and he's like, these are, I left all the C-listers in the bag.
Exactly.
Like he's only got the A-list characters out.
So meta, but so true, but so meta.
I like how Peppermint Butler has a fucking dark streak.
Yep.
You know that's coming back.
Well, it's already, it already came back once, right? In one episode, it's like, Peppermint Butler, death?
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, Death is like, oh, you know Peppermint Butler. Why did you say so?
He's like, you'll owe me a favor.
And then there's another episode where it's like, oh, this will show you the aura of.
Oh my God, Peppermint Butler's
Butler, like, let's not look at my aura.
But all those things carry through. Like this very subtle thing in one of the flashback episodes with Simon. Notice how the candy goop was kind of interacting a little bit, like the precursors to candy people re-evolving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, you're feeling we should do Radio Free You.
Right. But here's the question, right? So did Bubblegum Princess make all the candy people?
I think she is she and her bloodline. Well, I guess Bubblegum line.
Sugar line.
Yeah, Sugar line.
But she's only 18?
Yeah, because we know a little bit. She has her, she had a mother and a father.
Okay.
That came up in the show. We know their names even.
All right, cool. So the question is,
I think her bloodline, Sugar line, is the manifestation of that evolved semi-sentient thing, and that family over time created candy people from that elemental life essence of sugar.
All right, so how did Peppermint Butler, who came out of that, become all evil and shit?
Because they all have free will and agency. He went off and hung out with Death.
I guess so.
Yeah.
What's the story with that shit?
Yeah, actually, the episode.
How the fuck did that happen?
So forget all that. There's only one episode that actually kind of creeped me out. When Finn gets knocked out and wakes up, and Jake's just fucking crazy, and everyone else is gone. That episode was actually pretty creepy.
Which one was that?
Where Jake's got a head injury and is living like a hobo, and everyone's missing, and the deer has kidnapped everyone. That episode was kind of creepy because Jake always acts flippity floppity, I'm crazy, Hamlet style. But in that episode, he was Ophelia crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And there aren't that many Ophelia crazy episodes.
No, you can't overuse that. It would get old. All right.
Yeah, if you guys can't tell, Adventure Time's super good. We really like it.
I'm pretty sure everyone who listening to this already knows
I
Adventure
think
Time.
a lot of people are not watching Adventure Time because they're stupid.
You know how many people told us to do a show on Adventure Time this week?
Guys, the show is like, the episodes are so short. You can just watch one like while you're brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
If you also floss.
Even though they're in the fifth season.
Every season is 26 episodes.
You can watch the whole thing faster than you can watch like a whole anime almost.
The problem I had is that
I think it is still I think there may still be less seconds of Adventure Time than there are seconds of Utena. It's close.
I think there's more seconds of Adventure Time because Utena's only 39 full-length episodes.
So 39 times 2 is 78. How many
Scott,
Adventure Times are there?
26 per season, 5 seasons. So if you divide that in half, because the episodes are short.
There's only a little bit more Adventure Time than there is Utena.
Yeah. But Adventure Time is just great. My only problem was we started watching it, and after a few episodes, we just would burn through like 10 episodes in a go. And then we ran out.
That's the only way I watch things these days.
Yeah, I pretty much.
And if I don't have an urge to watch something and burn through it, then I don't watch it at all.
Which is why House of Cards was great, because they released the whole thing at once. So when I was like, I'm going to watch that show, I just watched the whole thing at my own pace. I at no point had to deal with Escaflowne bullshit cliffhangers.
Now, the thing I like that method, right? But the method I like better than that no one has done yet, as far as I can tell, is don't have like some sort of schedule, right? Just make the show, and as soon as an episode is done, put it up. And as soon as the episode is done, put it up.
It depends.
If one episode is real easy to do and it took you an hour, you put it up an hour after the previous episode. As soon as you have the thing mastered and ready to upload it. And
my only regret is not
watching
the show closer to when it was coming out meant that, much like when all our friends read The Prince of Nothing before we did, I missed out on that wave of everyone's talking about it. So now I'm the guy late to the party.
Whatever.
Luckily, Scott watched it, so now we have a little party going again, which is fine. And what I was getting at is that even with Prince of Nothing, every time new people read it, we would have a wave of everyone talking about it again. And the wave just gets bigger every time. One of my coworkers is reading The Prince of Nothing right now.
Nice.
He was like, yeah, he just left the guy behind in the woods.
Is it a smart person who knows how to read?
Yeah, the guy's into that kind of stuff.
Okay, good.
So he was like, yeah,
that's way early.
Kellis just left that guy behind. He just started reading it. In the woods, he's like, I just met the spy who's also a wizard. And I was like, and his friend the priest. And I was like, yeah, I like the friend the priest. And I was like, yeah, well, let's see what happens. He's like, I got past the proper noun bullshit. I think I see what's going on here. And I know he's smart because he's like, when he left the guy behind in the woods, that said a lot about what's going on. I was like, yep, that said a lot indeed.
Mm.
All right, we're done, I think. Adventure time.
It's not Adventure Time anymore.
Well, I'm one episode ahead of you.
Oh, no.
So
I don't have a strong urge to go watch it.
My favorite, not that commonly recurring character is Magic Man.
Yeah, fuck Magic Man. Because
he's such a jerk.
Fuck him.
The fact that the moral was how much of a jerk I am and how the whole thing in Mars and all that stuff just reinforces. And I wonder if he ever will actually come back.
Mm.
Because that I'm not coming back is the kind of crap that this show does that I love. And I wonder if he will come back because notice how...
I think he was just talking about that episode.
I don't know, because notice how the show implied that he has a backstory much like Simon's.
It didn't imply it. They showed the whole thing.
But they didn't actually tell you what actually happened.
Mm.
They just showed you enough evidence to surmise that there's a similarly tragic backstory. And we still don't know how Marceline became a vampire yet. We just know about what age it happened to her. And we know that she was a half demon already, which would make her super long-lived, but not immortal. She's only immortal because of the vampire
I'm pretty
bite.
sure she was always a vampire.
No. We know absolutely she wasn't. 1, no bite marks when she's a kid. 2, vampires don't age. She aged up to a point and stopped aging. 3, in the alternate reality where she didn't get bit by a vampire because all the other bullshit didn't happen, she got way old by the point where she would have met Finn in the normal universe, where she is not old.
Mm.
This is what, maybe I need to get someone else to do Radio Free Ooh with me.
Free ooh.
I kind of want to do it now.
Yeah, what exactly are the borders of the land of ooh?
That's what we got to figure out. I mean, we get that panning.
Whatever, it's already
credits.
not Adventure Time anymore.
This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not 1, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night. Our itineraries.
See, I remember
and they had
this.
a tiny TV in that conference room, and Adventure Brothers is on that TV.
I remember that happening at an Anime Boston.
It was not Anime Boston.
There was a PAX where we were going to perform in a room, and it was at night, and they were just showing clips from Venture Brothers in the room to the audience before we showed up, just hanging out.
That's true.
So the thing is, it's funny because it's a show that I remember I watched a few episodes because I was in India just waiting for a flight, and I had it on my laptop. So I watched like the first 4 episodes, and much like Ponies, I was like, you know what? It's an okay show. Not great, but it's okay. But I got a long flight, so I watched the entire first season, and the show just got better and better and better and better. I got Emily to start watching the show by skipping a lot of that first season stuff and just starting with the really good stuff and then backpedaling and seeing the original episodes once she kind of had seen stuff. So she's pretty much caught up now, and I'll be able to watch the new season going forward with someone instead of by myself. God damn, I love that show.
Eh.
You'll get into it. I mean, you resisted Adventure Time for the
I
longest
didn't
time.
resist it. You seem to think I resist things.
You resist things.
Because I delay. There's a difference between delaying and resisting, right? So Adventure Time, I was delaying. Venture Brothers, resisting because I've seen it and it's not the kind of it's like one of those shows like Archer or C-Lab where I don't think it's funny.
I still don't understand how you don't find Archer funny considering the other things you find funny.
It's just sort of ridiculous and not humorous.
So Adventure Time is clearly in no way ridiculous.
Adventure Time, well, why don't we wait till the second half of the show for me to discuss that?
So there was a Twitter discussion. Mike Toole was involved, and I threw my cents in. And it came down to the fact that apparently episode 11 of Kids on the Slope, with its Blu-ray release, was...
Okay.
And the people who were saying things like the release is ruined or this is bullshit amateur hour used proper punctuation and good word order and spelling. So just pointing that out.
In a somewhat related news, right? Nozomi, another anime company, is releasing Princess Knight on DVD in the US.
Oh shit, son.
And they're doing some crazy remaster, and you can see on this link that is provided for you a video comparison showing you the kind of remaster they are doing.
Now wait, is this a good remaster or is this the Utena one, which is good in some ways but has jaggies?
This is like the Anime Ego Macross one where it's just all the color is fucking correct, right? However, there is a flaw. The flaw is...
Is it fatal?
No.
Okay.
Well, kind of.
Because it clearly won't include the final episode.
Because of the materials that they have to work with, they do not have Japanese audio that they can include. So it is dub only.
But that modern Astro Boy had the same problem. It's the only reason I didn't watch it, because that dub was the worst.
So to their credit, though... All right, the top comment on YouTube is, I would get this if only there was an option for the original Japanese audio with English subtitles. They themselves officially replied with their account saying, sorry, frowny face. We've been pretty open about the reasons we can't include the Japanese audio. It's just not possible with the source materials provided to us. We still think this will be a very impressive addition for all the PK fans out there. Smiley face.
So is it, because I haven't followed this news at all, is it that the Japanese company won't give it to them or that it's gone?
I have a feeling that it's just, it sounds right.
Because gone can happen and that sucks. There are gone situations in the world, but I doubt this is a gone situation.
My interpretation is that given whatever audio masters they have received, the quality or completeness of those is lacking. Like there might be like just completely missing or...
It's Wednesday, May 8th, 2013. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. What time is it? I guess Scott doesn't want to play along. It's Adventure Time.
It could be many other times.
But right now,
time.
Right now, Adventure Time.
Game time. Let's do this.
So Scott really hasn't watched it or isn't really a fan of it, but I'm really big into Venture Brothers, and season 5 is coming up way soon.
Okay.
So
I don't understand seasons anymore. It's like all the TV seasons.
Because that's how production schedules work.
There used to be, right, that like TV seasons started at a certain time and ended, and all the seasons started and ended at the same time of every show, and then there would be a time where there was just 100% reruns for months, and then all new TV shows.
So Scott, the reason you perceive that is that there was a time in your life when you paid attention to that and watched TV.
And nowadays,
you don't pay attention anymore.
TV shows start all different times.
Part of that, too, is that TV has changed, cable has changed. I mean, when we were kids, there really wasn't cable.
I know.
Like, cable came out.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying there's been a change here.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of changes. These changes have been going on for a long time. And I think part of it is just that you don't watch normal TV anymore, because normal TV follows the more standard schedules. People still talk about summer reruns if they watch network bullshit sitcoms. Doesn't matter, though. It's all internet now.
Yep.
But, Venture Brothers Season 5 took for fucking ever. I can't believe how old Venture Brothers is until I looked at when Season 1 came out. Good God.
Yeah, I remember... I think the first Kineticon we went to...
You sure it wasn't Anime Boston?
We went into this little tiny... There was a tiny room where we got our folders with that.
In fact, I'm in the process of ripping all of Utena as we ramp up production of Geek Nights Presents.
Already did that.
The trouble is, depending on ripping formats and everything, sometimes subtitles, there's every old anime release has its own particular bullshit to deal with.
You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, you got to put some manual effort into figuring out the particular problems with each individual anime series and publisher.
But the point is that, you know, regardless of the problems of physical media in general, particularly, right, the less professional releases, right? And anime companies are less big time than, say, Hollywood movies.
Oh, good God. It is clearly amateur hour.
Right. It's amateur hour when it comes to mastering their DVDs and Blu-rays. And it always has been, except there are a few, right, companies that even though they are amateur, it's not amateur hour. For example, say Anime Ego back in the day or Discotech now, right? They're the people who actually care about the stuff they're doing and they're putting in the full effort. But say a Funimation or a Bandai is just like, wah, whatever.
Yeah, I think but what's funny is I was reading all these Twitter conversations and forum conversations about this, and I noticed something, kind of an anecdote. There were 3 classes of people. The people who weren't involved because they just stream everything and don't care about physical media. People like me who are busybodies and complain. And the people who were defending the anime companies who make mistakes because you got to support them.
See previous Geek Nights episode.
This is not a charity?
This is not a charity.
Well, the thing is, there is a way to make it a charity by using a combination of Kickstarter and donations and whatever, but that's a whole separate thing. My anecdotal evidence is something much more subtle. The people who are saying these mistakes are common in other industries and we shouldn't hold the anime industry to that high of standard because they're so small and whatever, were almost universally very poorly spelled and with bad grammar. Okay. Either missing the left audio channel on the Japanese track or there was some other problem with it. And
Are you sure it was actually missing the left or was just the balance all to the right?
It's either not there or on some...
It's just like all 100% of the track is mixed to the right side on mono.
So no. So it was missing.
Oh.
Or it was so low volume, but it wasn't in the right track. It was just gone. But there's more to it than that, because when I was trying to find a succinct explanation of the problem just now to be able to talk about it, I discovered that anime Blu-rays have a history of fucked up audio and video issues and sampling issues and all these people complaining, but the people complaining usually don't know enough about audio or surround sound or Dolby or Blu-ray to succinctly describe what their problems are. And many people don't believe those problems exist. But then I find people who find problems that are clearly real, but then there are fanboys who don't believe the problems exist because their surround sound's set up wrong in the first place. So I've been watching this whole thing, and I think I have a more meta point to make. Physical media is dead except to collectors.
Physical media has been dead for a long time. I don't understand how Blu-ray is still alive or why anyone ever buys them ever. It makes no sense to me.
Well, here's the thing. I would buy physical media for a show that, 1, I don't have a reliably existent forever stream of. 2, I regularly show to other people in my house.
Yeah, you know what physical media is? I get a digital copy onto a hard drive. Now it's a physical media. Ta-da!
Yeah, well, lately I'm
a Blu-ray rip.
I basically only watch streaming stuff now, and things I actually care about I will rip, and I'm kind of planning to rip every DVD I own and then get rid of them all.
I already did a lot of that.
Yeah.
I already did a lot of that.